Good day. How are you today on this Sunday morning? I hope you got some good word this morning somewhere. If you might be sitting at home watching um, your YouTube pastors, or if you might have been in church, but I did. I got good word. But I wanted to come to you today. First of all, I hope your challenge is doing well with saving your receipts for the August challenge of let's see how much money you can save and what can you cut out in unnecessary spending. So I hope you're doing that, and then also reading and encouraging our children to read. So they go back to school next week. So let's be attentive and let's see what we can do and be better. So I wanted to come to you today because um, my heart, my heart is for my community as Nehemiah. Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah. I mean, I studied this book and I went back and forth, and it's my blueprint. It was my blueprint for my purpose, and for my vision, for my purpose. And as I was building and rebuilding and restoring in Como, Nehemiah was my blueprint. And Nehemiah, when you go and read the book of Nehemiah, remember his heart was hurt because the walls of Jerusalem had been destroyed, and he was the taster, the cup bearer for the king, and he used to taste everything for the king to make sure the king wasn't poisoned. And so the king kind of noticed that something's going on with Nehemiah, and he asked him, and he said, "My heart is hurting because my community." The walls of Jerusalem have been destroyed, and I really want to go back and repair them. And so he had favor with the king. So the king allowed him to do that. Not only did he do that, he had favor with the nobles, the people of influence, people with money. The nobles helped support that. So he went back and he went to the families. And see, I'm setting this up because it just reminds me of Como so much. He went to the families and he asked the families to just repair the gates and the wall closest to their home. So back then it was like 10 gates, 10 different gates. And then when I looked it up, so now it's only 7 gates now, 7 gates, which that kind of gives you an idea of what the wall looks like, about 2 miles it says. So Como is like 1 mile, right? So just think about, for me, as that's a blueprint. So we don't, we're here in our community as we restore and we attempt to get together and work together to restore what's damaged, what's ruined, or what's needed, the needs. And it's Nehemiah. Where's my Nehemiahs? I need y'all to come and show up and let's work together. And I'm telling you, so I mean, I love Nehemiah so much. I asked Rachel to her son, her oldest son, his middle name is Nehemiah. And it's so much power in a name. When you name your children, there's so much power in a name. And Nehemiah had much wisdom, but he was looked up to the community, from the community, and he got things done. So even when he had opposition, he had three. He had 3 people that came against him, that plotted against him, that tried to just destroy his objectives, his strategy. And so I'm just coming to you because, when God talks to me 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he wakes me up, and I want y'all to understand my heart. I'm a Nehemiah, and I'm a Deborah too, because now Deborah, when you look at the Deborah, she was in Judges. You go to Judges to read about Deborah. But Deborah, she was she was a judge for the community. She was one of the only women doing that, and for her community. And Barak was supposed to be. God was giving her instructions to give to Barak, and when she gave them to him, to go fight the war. Well, he wanted her to go with him. So he kind of gave his mantle over to Deborah. So everybody kind of, after they won the war and everything, everybody kind of looked up to looked up to Deborah. So just saying all that to say, I want to use the Bible. If we use the Bible for our strength, for our instructions, that's going to be, if you stay on track with biblical principles. We got a lot of people saying they're Christians and not living the Christian's life right now. Principles, because we need to love everyone. We need to be fair with everyone. And no matter what color you are, what nationality, what even religion. I was talking to the boys about. He asked me about Buddhists. He asked me about Muslims today. So that's their choice. But we're Christians, so we believe in the Bible and what's in the Bible. And so I just want the Nehemiahs to come and work with me in Como and to see what we could do for our community rebuild. Now, remember, Nehemiah moved away and he came back to help restore. So you can come and work and do the work. You love your community, let's do the work. So and then there's so many ways that you can help, so many ways. So but we have to be united. It's okay if you do your thing and you have your nonprofit or you have your organization or you have your church, but at some point we have to come together like Nehemiah had those families for each block. Just think of Como. Each block, if everybody just take one block where you live, and what can you do to restore it and be a good neighbor, a friendly neighbor, one that communicates, and we don't want to get people in trouble, but one that communicates. And then what are the issues? We have so many issues that are already out here. We have homelessness. We have affordable housing. It hurts my heart when I see people evicted, all their stuff on the curb. We have that. We have the fentanyl overdose. People are dying. We have crime of our folks killing each other. So we have that, the things we need to address. And our boys and girls are at risk. It used to be when I said the black boys were at risk and the brown boys are at risk, but the children are at risk. The boys and girls to go in prison because they catch cases pretty easy. So I've watched it over the years of working with reentry, how easy the difference in cases and our kids kind of get thrown under the jail for no reason. And I do love working with the police department when they let me talk to the new graduates coming out, just about working in your community, knowing your people that you're assigned to, but also making sure that your mood is not transferring over into how many cases you putting on somebody that day. So we've all been there when you got a bad day. So, but that's so important because these things follow children, young people, and when they get to be adults or try to find with their careers, their dream jobs. Sometimes I've had people just very distraught because something, when they explain the charge to me, how simple it was, and now you can't get your dream job, So let's work together. What can we do? Nehemiah's, inbox me. Deborah's, inbox me. We need to really work together. And the opposition, like I said, Nehemiah did have opposition. It was 3 of them. And it comes with the territory. When you're doing God's work, you have to be, but for me, you have to be obedient. You can't just stop because it's frustrating or the things that the opposition, the distractions, all that's distracting from the game, not the game, but from the objective of what we're trying to do. So have a good day, and I hope this helps. And inbox me. We will have our neighborhood meeting this Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Como Community Center, and I'd like for y'all to come and support the NAC and support me as the president. Come and support, and we can't just keep arguing and bickering about things you cannot change, the past, or we've allowed it. And another thing I want to talk about next time is, did you forfeit your inheritance? Your inheritance, you know. So we'll talk about that next time. So thank you.